Good morning, Bobby. How are you?
Good morning, Doug.
What we were talking to Scotty Barnes earlier, and he said his conversations with you guys were like family. What was your diligence of him as a kid away from basketball that made you pick him?
Yeah, I think, just the first part I'll take it is kind of what we touched on the other day about bringing the kids into Tampa and having them feel, get a good feel for who we are as an organization, who we are as people. So I think that was important to us, when he came in, when all the kids came in to, have them get an honest and authentic, sense of who we are, and, what we expect out of them and what we want to do with them. So he's authentic, as everybody sees. He wears his, kind of heart on his sleeve. So I think that's good. And so we recognize that, obviously, watching him play at Florida. He's been one of these kids that, I think we've probably watched since he was 16 or 17. He's been on every single USA basketball team. He's been, one of the premier guys. We've had a good feel, I think, for who he was as a person. And so to bring him into Tampa and really have time to spend with him, we were able to accomplish that.
You did say yesterday that you didn't see any reason that you would jam up your roster, whichever position you chose, but you chose a forward over a guard where there was a decision to make. Can you sort of go into that, that dynamic of the selection between, say, Barnes and Suggs?
Yeah, that's what we said. We're going to take best available player. I think, as we all see and we all know, the positionlessness of the NBA now. I don't think you can have too many, these big two-way wings. So I think from a positional standpoint, we don't really see it as any overlap. We see it as, let's have all five guys look like him and OG and Pascal and all of that.
Great. Thanks so much, Bob. I appreciate it.
Next question goes to Ryan Wallstaff from the Toronto Sun.
Hey, Bobby. You mentioned there you've been watching Scotty since he was like 16, 17. So I was actually going to ask, how much of, like, you obviously got a feel for him early as a person, but how much of the growth of his game has stood out to you, especially in the last little while, and even maybe seeing him in a workout as well?
Yeah, super important, right? It's the internal motivation to grow, internal motivation to get better. As most people see from his physique, he's really gifted. He's big, he's strong, he's long, he's athletic. But there's a lot of those guys in the NBA, so you have to obviously learn how to dribble, learn how to shoot. So I think those are the things we've noticed as he's developed, is he's always kind of had a sense for the playmaking and to be able to handle the ball. But even this year in Florida State, I think you saw, while his percentages may not show it, he took threes, he made big shots. I think he had a game winner early in the year. So that continued growth and development is obviously what we saw, but we think will continue, once he gets with us.
Have you kind of noticed a market growth kind of all along? Like every time you see him, you sort of notice more, or is it more slow and steady with him?
Yeah, probably slow and steady. Obviously, we only see him maybe, every summer, and then this year we got to see him a ton. But I think the shooting has improved. Like I said, the playmaking and kind of knack and feel, I think, as we know, is a little bit more intuitive, and so that's always been there.
Thanks.
Next question goes to Josh Lewenberg from TSN.
Hey, Bobby, thanks for doing this. I'm sure it's been a long night and a long week and a long month and a long year and all of that. You guys have drafted for upside before. It's something you were talking about yesterday, projecting to see who's the best in 3 or 4 years from now. But normally it's been lower in the draft, or the opportunity cost is less, is lower. So high up in the draft, do you view this as a bit of a risk? And if so, why are you guys confident that it's going to pay off?
Yeah, I don't think risk is probably not the right word, right? We do trades. We sign guys to contracts. So I think it's just kind of all, calibrated into our decision making. But obviously, first and foremost, we love Scotty as a player and as a person. So I think that's the biggest one for us. I think the kind of slicing it too thin probably gets in the way of the purpose here, which is we think Scotty has a great chance to help us in summer league, in training camp, during the season, 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now.
How much do you think he can help in the short term? I mean, we were talking to Nick earlier, and he pointed out, of course, that for any young player, there's a learning curve, but especially considering you talk about Barnes, you usually talk about the upside. Can he step in and contribute to a competitive team relatively soon, right away?
Obviously that's to be determined. I think for us, it's obviously we feel like we're a bit unique here. We had a team that had a couple of unfortunate circumstances this year to be in this position. So I think, the players we have on the team, I don't expect them to feel like, hey, guys coming in and all of a sudden going to be given anything. So I think all of that will have to be earned. I think Scotty's up for the challenge, but we also have a lot of good players on the team right now.
Cool. Thanks, Bobby. Have a good night.
Going next to Eric Corrine from The Athletic.
Hey, Bobby, thanks for taking the time. I wanted to follow up on Doug's second question there about, taking Scotty over maybe a guard or a big for that, or a traditional big for that matter. I know you're just going by best player available, but in the short term, and I'm talking about, the next week or 2 weeks and change, does it give you more holes to fill taking Scotty versus taking somebody at a different position?
No, I really don't see it that way. I don't think that's how we've ever built the team. So, I think it's probably a little bit of a disservice to the other players to compare them to. So I don't see it as far as we needed a position. I think we obviously can address positional needs in other areas. And so we had the opportunity to have the fourth pick, and obviously we took who we thought was best there.
Just a unrelated follow-up. You mentioned how active you anticipated it being and how many calls were being made. And certainly there were a lot of trades, but other than the one that happened Monday, none in the lottery. Did that surprise you? And how busy were the phone lines tonight for you?
Yeah, I told a couple of people this today. You probably wouldn't be surprised, but there are incredible offers, or offers that are made to you when you have a pick this high. And so I think one of the benefits, it really allows you to examine your team and if you want to go in a different direction. And so I think you always hear about it in the media after the fact of the types of offers that are made to teams this high. And so for me, and I think for us to sift through those types of offers, I think it was really good for us, because I think it allows you to see how valuable these picks are, either to take the player or to trade it. And you can definitely change the trajectory of your team, whether you're taking the player or you're making a trade.
Thanks, Bobby. Enjoy the 12 hours of rest or whatever.
I mean, it's last night in Tampa. I think that's the official phrase here.
Oh, well, congratulations on that too.
All right. Next question goes to Michael Grange from Sportsnet.
Hey, Bobby, can you just elaborate on that? Are you guys closing up shop down there and coming back to Toronto?
Closing up shop. I don't know if Toronto is next. We have Summer League in Vegas. So we'll probably meet out there. We have free agency, obviously, so we'll probably bounce around as we typically do. But yeah, I think next destination would be Toronto for most everyone here.
Great, congratulations. Just looking ahead to free agency in the next couple of days, what are your thoughts regarding Kyle? And do you anticipate being able to keep him, trying to keep him? And if not, what's the likelihood of trying to get some kind of asset as a sign and trade?
Yeah, you obviously see it, pretty clearly, which is we can keep him. He can walk, or we can, facilitate a deal where maybe he gets to go to a place that he wouldn't otherwise get to go, and we get a little bit of value in return. So we'll quickly turn to that now that the draft is over and teams have a bit more sense of cap space, money, positionally, what happened tonight. So then we'll turn to that and examine all of those options. And obviously we knew this coming into the summer and coming in or after the trade deadline. So we'll be thorough as always and obviously do what's best for us, but at the same time, listen to Kyle and see what he wants to do.
Does anyone ask you about the second round picks?
Nope.
No. So if you get Delano Banton, right? History, first Canadian drafted by the Raptors. Maybe just your thoughts on that. Why you took him where you did, and obviously who you took the pick after, like a big point guard. What a thought.
Yeah, I think for all the Canadians, I mean, this is a perfect example of why you have BioSteel. I think that's the first time I saw the kid play, right? We all watched him there and have continued to follow him. Obviously, all the Canadian talent to draft the first Canadian kid. I'm sure it was cool for all of us to hear on the broadcast. Toronto Raptors select Delano Banton from Toronto, right? That'll probably go down for a while, but no, really talented. A bit of a roundabout way for him. And that's, never deterred us in the past. We think he's talented. We think he's big. He plays a little point guard. He sees the floor really well. He can rebound really well. He was invited to the G League camp this year in Chicago, didn't make it to the NBA camp, but maybe that, was a benefit to us. Local kid, I think Rexdale. So shout out to Rexdale. I'm sure they're all, really excited for him. We'll see what he can do. I mean, we have summer league in a week. He needs to work on his body. He needs to get stronger. He needs to, continue his shooting and his skill development. But at his size and playmaking and rebounding, I think we feel like there's a profile of a kid that can make it.
Thanks, Bobby. Have a great night.
All right, 2 more questions for you, Bobby. First one goes to Blake Murphy from The Athletic.
Hey, man. How are you?
What's up, Blake? You have these picks right?
I didn't. I was pretty high on Banton and had some stuff prepared on him, but Johnson a little less so. How did you guys determine who got 46 and who got 47 there?
Well, we figured we'd give the hometown kid 46, right? He'd get a nice congratulations. No, it didn't really matter, right? It was kind of more which decision was easier for us. So obviously we made Delano, and then we had an extra 2 minutes to debate a couple other guys. So that's how the sausage was made.
Cool. That's all I got for you, man. Thank you.
And last but not least, Stephen Lung from Sportsnet.
Hey, Bobby. Just going back to Scotty, like when you talked about before about kind of projecting guys forward, like kind of down the line, like what kind of player do you envision Scotty Barnes being, 3-4 years down the line here?
Yeah, so first and foremost, he's big and strong, right? Super versatile defender. I think he hangs his hat on that. People probably see he guards, point guards a lot. He plays point guard. He, probably can play in the post, guard in the post. So I think defensively, you see that. I think he wants to. I think he has that desire. And then offensively, I think, you guys kind of know how our offense is running. He needs to attack the paint. He needs to be able to spray it out. And then lastly, he needs to be able to make the shot. And so I think, sort of a do-it-all forward, but I think first and foremost on the defensive end is where he'll be able to come in. And then as he learns the offense and as he improves his shooting and his confidence, I think that's where, that may come a little bit later.